Next stop on Explore TV's trip to Canada this week is the Yukon Territory. We're starting this leg of our journey in Whitehorse, the hub of the Yukon.
This is Main Street Whitehorse, and it is actually called Main Street.
Yeah.
It's got this lovely historic feel about it that takes it back to those times of the Klondike with all those gold prospectors coming through and then going north and opening up the Yukon.
Today, it is the capital of the Yukon. It has about 27,000 people live here. There's another 5,000, so there's only 32,000 people living in the Yukon, but over 500,000 square kilometres of the most pristine wilderness. Now, this town is bustling and it's growing, and there are so many things to see and do. Let us show you some.
The mighty Yukon River has played a vital role in this territory's expanding progress. It's been the lifeblood of this region. Boats transporting early prospectors would berth just south of present-day Whitehorse.
You can imagine the flow of water moving through here. It must have just roared through.
Well, it was full of rapids, and in fact Whitehorse gets its name from those rapids that look like flowing horse manes.
Of course, I can see it. I get it. Now, when everything started happening with the gold rush down in Dawson City, this was the supply point. This was the supply town. And these beautiful boats, stern wheelers,
the
started to move up and down.
Well, there's over 250 of them that wandered from here to Dawson and beyond, and the Klondike over back here was the biggest of them.
You know, that very first stern wheeler that left Dawson City with the very first load of gold, today, if it was at current values, it'd be worth over $1 billion, so you understand why so many people rush to this area. These days, while the powerful flow of the Yukon River is being harnessed to supply Whitehorse's power grid, Miles Canyon, further upriver, gives you an insight into the risks that gold prospectors faced when making their way north to the Klondike to seek out their fortune. These waters can be treacherous.
When you get to a territory as vast as the Yukon, you need to get around, and you can join a tour, there's plenty of those,
or grab a car. Look, it's fantastic. You can just drive wherever you want to go. There are so many things to see, and the road trip is so much fun, particularly when Kim's driving.
Mate,
there you go, my friend.
Okay, which side?
Get that way, you know where it is.
We're heading down the South Klondike Highway, and as per usual around here, the Yukon scenery does not disappoint. The mountains are always a picturesque endpoint on the horizon.
We've arrived at a place called Carcross, about 30 minutes out of Whitehorse. The town's name came as a result of the abbreviation of the two words, Caribou Crossing, and the fact that herds of tens of thousands of caribou would cross the river here meant it was always destined for a First Nations village. It proved to be an important trading post, and white settlers set up stores that are beautifully preserved here, making it a fascinating place to experience the First Nations and Gold Rush settlers' history, all in one place. Keith Wolfe Smarch has been part of the town's renewal recently, with his art becoming part of the urban landscape. Well, Keith, this is absolutely fascinating. Now, tell me what it is called. It's a Storypole, right?
Yeah, it's a storypole about our history here. We're two groups of people. We're the coastal Tlingit and the Tagish people. And we came together as a result of trading. And if we start at the bottom of the pole, the bottom figure is a Tlingit trader from the coast. And the second figure here is a Tagish woman of our people holding a box of trade goods that she received. And this represents the intermarriage of our two cultures.
Yes.
So as we move up the pole, the killer whale represents Skookum Jim. Skookum Jim was the same clan as me, a killer whale clan. Skookum Jim was one that picked up the first nugget that started the gold rush in 1898.
And he's your...
Skookum Jim is my great uncle.
Wow.
And then standing on the killer whale's tail is a thunderbird. And that represents the coming of White Pass, the White Pass train. Oh. The train came, just after the gold rush. If you look on the front of the train, there's a red thunderbird. So I put that there as a symbol of the train.
So this is going to take pride of place in the centre of the area just outside?
Yeah, right in the centre. It'll be a centrepiece for the Carcross Commons.
Wow, it's fantastic. Absolutely amazing.
East of Carcross, a short drive away, is the small hamlet of Tagish. We're transferring to a barge for a 40-minute cruise across Lake Tagish for a slice of solitude. We're heading to a secluded hideaway that is only accessible by boat or float plane. This is Tagish Wilderness Lodge, set in a forest in between the lake and the coastal mountain range. There are 4 cabins, so there are only ever 8 guests here at the most. Small numbers, total isolation, no cars, and hectares of untouched wilderness combined for an experience of total serenity and space.
All meals are served here in the main lodge. Its dining room and lounge a great meeting point to map out your day's activities. Our hosts, Swiss expats Gebhardt and Sarah, will tailor your stay to be as activity-based as you choose.
Gebhardt is taking us out on the water. There's a lake full of fish out there, and in the Yukon spirit of self-sufficiency, we're gonna catch us some lunch. But it requires a very specific technique because of the depth at which the fish are living. We're not using the normal bait and hook and throwing it over the side. We've got something special.
No, exactly, yeah. We're using the downrigger, which is a big weight, lead weight.
God, that is weighty.
And this is attached to this boom here.
Yep.
And on here, I have a counter, which shows me exactly at what depth the weight will be. And in that case, also, I will know at what depth the lure will be of the
Okay, so we're going to be attaching that to that.
Correct, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What kind of fish are we expecting to catch?
Lake trout.
So what's going to happen here when we get a bite? Does line just start peeling off? They take the lure and run?
Ideally, yes, yes. Larger trout would have the power to do that.
Yeah.
However, normal-sized trout would
You see,
probably
I have a little problem with that. You see, normal-sized trout for me are about that big.
Yeah.
You're going normal-sized trout.
yeah, yeah. No, that's a big difference to what you guys know.
Yeah.
These little trouts we would throw back.
Yeah.
They're just not worth the work afterwards, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kim is the first to get an inquiry, which means I'm playing catch-up. Come on, Kimbo.
Hang on. Hey,
look at this.
Whoa, look at this.
Oh, my
wow.
goodness. Look at
Okay.
that. But I don't have to wait too long for my lure to do its work. It's a pretty looking fish.
Give up.
All right,
Radio. Okay.
here we go.
Not putting up much of a
Here
fight,
we
mate.
go. Look at that. Look at that. That is unbelievable.
You don't get much fresher than cooking your catch straight away. And Gebhardt's helping us grill our filleted trout on the lake shore. This is my idea of the perfect lunch. Well, compliments to the chef. Freshly caught and cooked to perfection.
Thank you very much.
And this is an experience that you can have too. Tagish Wilderness Lodge is just one of these magical destinations that you can visit right here in Canada. After the break, more brilliant Explore TV.